Welcome back, everybody, for part number 2 of this Jurassic build AL37. I hope you're as excited as I am. It is graphics time. It is time to get this thing loaded up and time to check it out. Let's get going. So I guess it's always good to have plans B, C, D, E. I really like the way this is turning out so far. It's kind of hard to envision, but I think it's going to look really good with the graphics on there. So we have this taped off, and I use some low-tack painter's tape. Everything we've built up the base underneath, so I don't think we're going to have any issues with paint peeling. And just to be safe, I actually applied a little bit of talcum powder, baby powder on my hands, and used a sticky close method and some baby powder just to keep it low tack. And here with the blue rags, what I did is just like you did in art school when you make snowflakes, how you fold them over, and then I used it to cut half the corner, wet it, and laid it down. So that gives me that arch without having to tape it. And then for the tiny little imperfections there, I can just touch up them afterwards with some regular paint. So I think we're ready to start shooting this, and then to prevent taping, and more taping, I'm just going to use a little bit of cardboard like so wherever I go to shoot that, and then that way that'll give me my kind of barrier. But let's get to shooting the bottom of this lime green, which I thought I was going to do black, and then I thought I was going to do dark green, and now we're going to do light green. So let's get it shot. Well, you can see that the tape did exactly what I wanted it to do. We have a really nice clean line all the way down the plane. So back here, a little bit of fuzz. It's not perfectly clean, but I'm just going to take some yellow touch-up paint, but I think I also want to curl this in more like that. So I'm just going to touch that up with some yellow just to make that come skinnier in here instead of wide like it is. So I think I'm going to touch that up a little bit, but we always got something. Painting a foamy is never without aggravation. So why I got orange peel there and nowhere else is beyond me, because that was already shot with yellow and it didn't orange peel. So half of it did, half of it didn't. You know, painting foamies is aggravation, and that's just the way it goes. But we can fix that. So we're just going to sand that down, and then once we sand it down, reprimer it, reshoot it. We'll touch up some around the light here. So all I do, let me show you guys. When it comes down to touch-up paint, just literally take your paint like this, take your cap, spray a bunch of it in the cap, take a paintbrush, and then touch up. Then you're going to need lacquer to clean up. So that's how we do that. Otherwise, pretty happy with it. Some light touch up as we go around here. But our Jurassic Park airliner is getting ready for decals. Let's do it. So I decided on the winglets. I went with the sunset orange undertone with some yellow above it, so it kind of gives it some orange fading already. And then I decided to do a scaled kind of dinosaur look. So what I did is I freehand all of this stuff, making the front row of scales more squarish, and then everything beyond that just a little bit more round. And I really like the way that turned out. I'm going to leave the bottom part that yellowish orange like that. So it's only kind of like the passenger sight that would see that. So I'm going to show you guys how I went ahead and did this. So we take our long side, and I just started here, and we come across. And then I will pick up, I don't make them all perfectly the same size or width. Nothing is a straight line. And then from here, then we will just do kind of rounded, some smaller, bigger. Like so. And then on the front edge, all I will do is I will carry over all of those lines right through the front. And again, we'll be putting the aluminum HVAC tape edging on there. So that will cover up most of this anyway. Not all of it, but some of it. All right, let's time lapse the rest of that draw. Now, using a low pressure in our airbrush, the first thing I'm going to do is I'll clean out all my acrylic thinner in there. We're just going to make up some black. So squeeze some black in there. Give it a little test squirt here. Now, low pressure on this, and we just want a very fine mist coming out, like that. This thing gets tacky if I don't hold it from the bottom. And what I'm going to do is simply shade the away side, so it's going to be flying this way. So we're going to back shade all of the scales. Like such. I think that looks pretty good. Do the same thing on the other side. Sometimes when you do airbrush work, your brush, the tip gets full of dry paint. So sometimes you just have to give it a little scrub to get that stuff cleaned off and get it working again. All right, let's clean this out. Now we're going to mix up some of our T-Rex brown, and all I do is take a little bit of this acrylic brown paint, put in a little bit of acrylic thinner, make it just a tad thicker than just water. Try to make sure you get out any of those chunks so it's not chunky. And then I'm just going to give a once over on this whole thing. and it'll just start to give it that brown overtone. Just make some spots a little darker than others. There you have it. I like it. I think that's a pretty neat little touch. So anyway, let's get up there to putting these things on the wings. We got a little bit of cleanup on the wings to do where I covered up the carbon rods, and let's clean up our paint. Now I'm going to place in my design concept here for a cockpit light. So simply all I do is take a LED and epoxy it into a board or a piece of plastic in this case. Have a long wire so that way I can attach into the blue box right there. And then all I'm going to do so I don't have to rip the cockpit back off is I have myself a stick with a groove cut in it there. I'm going to go ahead and place some foam tack right on the end, and we're going to slide that through the inside all the way up through that channel. I'm going to push it into the foam all the way up front under the dash panel, and then that will give me an interior light. And I usually set it up on the blue box so that way it comes on with the landing lights. So let's get to installing. Time to put in all of our linkages and adjust everything to neutral. It is officially go time. It is time to start laying the graphics on this AL that I am doing custom for Mark. Check this thing out. Super stoked with the way this thing looks right now. We have the yellow faded into the orange, into the light red as the sunset. I was debating doing a dark green on the bottom, but I do like the lime green as kind of signifying one version of the Jurassic Park. But so the part that I'm really excited to show you guys about is right here. Check these out. This whole project wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the master of customizing, Callie from Callie Graphics. I went back and forth with her with several designs and layouts and schemes, and finally this is what I decided on. You guys will see it as it comes to life, but without her, none of this stuff is possible. So with that being said, Callie's done tens of thousands of different schemes for people. She is an amazing master, the wizard behind the curtain, if you will. You guys have to check her out, www.callie-graphics.com. And you're going to spell that CALLIE-GRAPHICS.com. Link down in the description below so you can find her over there. But basically, you can do this one of two ways. She's probably already done the scheme that you're looking for, just like my Toy Story airliner. If you're interested, you email her, say, hey, I want to do the Toy Story AL from Freewing, from Motion, and she's going to say, okay, I already have it on file, here you go. Or if you want to do something completely off the wall custom like this, you email her, you do your research on the different airplane, scheme, livery, whatever you want to call it, shoot her as many pictures, give her some time to respond via email, she'll give you a timeline, and before you know it, you get these awesome graphics just like this, rolled up, shipped to you via UPS. I like to lay mine out for a few days a week as soon as I get them, so that way they're not curling on you. And now we're going to do the secret sauce as far as applying them. How do we do that? Number one, you can always link here, check out the build for my AL. That was the very launch of my YouTube channel, was that one right there. So we've come a long way when it comes down to video making, so hopefully this one is good, more so than the other one or better than the other one. But with that being said, what we do is I get a bottle, we fill it up about 3/4 of the way with water, 2 drops of Dawn dish soap, and about 2 drops of alcohol that helps the water evaporate. We are going to mist down the airplane, keep it nice and wet, and then you are going to cut your graphics like the Dino here, pretty close to the shape that you want. You're going to peel off this top layer, and then the decal will stick to the top layer. You dispose of the bottom layer. A word of advice here, guys, don't let these sit around and get wet. If the paper on the back gets wet, it will start to adhere to the decal, and that's not so good. As far as application goes, I like to use just a regular plastic squeegee. So I have a sharper edge to squeegee it out, and then I have a felt to work with it. Doing it wet gives you time to move and slide before final application, because once it's down, chances are when you go to pull off, it's going to peel paint. So on is on. And then I keep myself a wet rag for application to move and push water around. And then once you're finally set on where you want this thing, you're going to go ahead and then squeegee, and then I go over it with a dry rag to wipe off any of the water and really seat it. I've been excited, can't wait to get the decals on. I think it's going to make this plane pop. So let's get into the time lapse and see how it goes. Oh my God. 2 hours for one side, but check this out. It is so awesome. The whole time I'm like, I hope this pops. I hope this pops. So with that horizon, you know, that faded horizon there on the fuselage, the way the color popped right out of the darkness, out of the backdrop, the way that faded into black. Fade to black. Yeah, baby. That is awesome. Again, graphics from Callie Graphics, calliegraphics.com. The go-to source for this stuff, guys. The beauty of airliners, complete customization, fantasy scheme, but this looks sweet as can be. Side 2 tomorrow night. It's been a long 3 days of working on this thing, so tomorrow we got to get to work. Tomorrow night we'll be back and hopefully get this thing ready for some clear coat and surprise the Mark at their annual fly-in next weekend. So a couple days away. Let's get to it. Later. Peace out. Crunch time. Final week. Let's get to side 2. Side 1 turned out amazing. Callie Graphics again, going on the AL37 from Freewing. Let's do it. All right, guys, one of our final steps, we're going to apply the polyacrylic. This is going to be the gloss, so it's going to give this AL a nice shine. We're going to do about 3 to 5 coats total, making it light so that way it doesn't run and we wind up with big drippers. If you do get a dripper, all you need to do to get rid of it is apply more of the polyacrylic and just keep rubbing it in with the foam brush, and it'll make their little bumps or runs go away. So let's time lapse and get this thing covered. All right, guys, we are back. Let's get some lights on in this place. It has been a crazy day here. We're on Wednesday. Final stretch coming into the weekend for Mark's plane. It's been a crazy trip coming home. It's guys, be careful on the highways. You know, wear your seatbelts, make good decisions, pay attention. It's been hard. There's been a lot of crazy stuff I've seen on the highways in the last couple weeks, and today was kind of tough. So keep your loved ones close, kiss them, say goodbye. You can tell them you love them. You know, you never know if you're not going to get that opportunity again. So there's my public service announcement, and you know, we're going to keep moving on. We got stuff here we got to do. I want to get the aluminum trim work done on this plane. It's literally the last step before I got to go dig the garbage out of the cockpit that I just found. I got the light in there and I finally got the masking off the windows, and I look in the inside now that the cockpit light illuminates, and I got paper and rubber band and all kind of weird stuff floating around in there from the when it was built at the factory. So I got to get that stuff out, which is kind of stinky because I got to find a way to get it out from the inside of the plane because I can't take the cockpit off. But anyway, tonight's goal is we got to get the aluminum stripping done. I use HVAC tape, aluminum tape. I started doing this a long time ago when I built my AL, and it really took off across Facebook and all over the place, and people love this trick. Mark specially requested that I do the same stuff, which how can you not? But I'm using all the measurements off of the stuff in my AL, so I'm going to pre-cut everything here. When I get upstairs to the plane in the garage, it's just easier to work on it there. I got more space to put it on a stand than here in the workshop down in the lair. So we're going to go ahead and cut this stuff down here and take it upstairs. Now, one of the keys here, if you haven't watched my Toy Story AL build, is we're going to use a fabric cutter. You can get it from Walmart. And we can't, when you taper this, you don't want to just measure off one side. You want to make sure you're going to make a double cut going down through to the taper. Otherwise, it winds up cattywampus. So we're going to lay this stuff out. We're going to use a metal straight edge. We're going to make our measurements to here, and we're going to use a fabric cutter, not an X-Acto knife, because otherwise you'll wind up tearing this stuff and it'll look terrible. So let's get the cut into pieces. The next time that we go back to video, we're going to be installing it on the AL, which is looking primo, guys. Super. So let's get to it. Got our pieces all cut out. Let's go get them on the AL. It's that time, guys. Final touches on the Jurassic Park AL37 special build for Mark. We are going to put the swirls in. So do you even swirl, bro? So the most important part is to finish up with engine swirls. I just use a white paint pen. It's a white Sharpie paint pen. And we just start on the side. Get the pattern you want. And come in like that. So almost looks like a C, if you will. Pretty simple, straightforward, does the job. Let's get the other side. right, guys, here we go. It is early Saturday morning. We were out very late Friday night over at a Luke Bryan concert with the wife. Had a great time, super cool show. But now it's time to get Mark's AL loaded up and head over to Susquehanna Valley Modelers for their first fly-in at their new facility. So again, super cool occasion there. It's also to remember a long-time member there, great guy in Rockow. So this AL is going to fit in perfectly with the picture as that presentation of Mark. Again, I hope he loves it. It's been a lot of long hours, a lot of late nights, long weeks. It's all come to an end. So let's get this thing behind me loaded up and get it over to the field, get this thing maiden, get it presented, and move on to the next project. So let's get to it. Well, everybody, we're loaded up. It is time to grab a shower and we are heading out. So I really appreciate you guys sticking around for the build. I hope you enjoyed it. I think it turned out phenomenal, better than I could expected. Again, a huge thank out to Callie at Callie Graphics. So go over and check her out. She is the go-to source for anything customized graphics for your airplanes. Check her out over on the internet at www.callie-graphics.com. Again, I've used her so many times. It is a phenomenal experience. She does top-notch work. It is so awesome the way we get to customize our planes. With that being said, Hope you guys catch the next video where we're going to do the presentation in the maiden on this Jurassic Park AL. It's going to be a monster. It's Brendan here at Just Plain Crazy. I'm just plain crazy. I know you're just plain crazy. I wish you guys happy flights. Peace out.